Welcome to RMM Help. In this video we provide an overview of the stock control reports in RMM. We suggest you view the standard reports and the standard asset and work reports filtered videos if you're not a regular RMM user, and this will give you some very useful background information on reporting. The stock reports can be run from the main menu reporting option, and if I scroll down, all the stock reports are grouped together. Or, as I would suggest, if we go back onto our stock list, and I'm going to recommend that you run your reports from here. We have a reports option. My reason for suggesting that is because we've got a filter row here. We can filter for a required data set, and once we've selected that, we can then run multiple reports on the same data set. So for instance, you might filter for some stock records and then want to print some stock details, stock valuation, and maybe an audit report, and we'll actually carry that out and see that through. So to be able to run a report from here, we have to select at least one record. If we don't, and we click on reports, we'll get this little message box. If I select a report and then click on reports, it'll give me my report listing. So I'll just go back, and let's say for instance we wanted to do a filter for one particular stock group, and let's say it was manufacturers spares. So I'll type in spares, and that reduces our record set down to 126. Let's do another one and say we now want to do that just for one supplier for Otis, and that now gives us 3 records. We click on select all, so whatever reports we run now will be on those 3 selected records. So I click on reports, and this is my report list. As we select these reports, you'll notice that we get a report description. It has all of the details relating to the report, whether there's any selection criteria, and when it would be useful to run these reports, but most of them can be run at any time. So I'll just go through the list, and you can see that we've got descriptions for each of them. So the first one we were going to run was our item listing, and we'll click on view report, and that's run that, and you can see that we've got 3 records. For all of the reports, we have a little menu bar at the top here. It shows how many pages and a navigation bar, and you can scroll through. You can adjust the size of the display. Any selection criteria would always be displayed at the heading of the report, and then we have a printer icon, and with that we can print to our local printer or to a designated network printer. Cancel that, and then here we can save our report in either Excel, PDF or Word formats, and they're all ideal for being able to send to a colleague via email. So I'll close that at this stage. Now we'll do a FIFO valuation report and view the report. That runs that, and there's our options on the top again. And finally we'll run a transaction report. I've been clicking on view report, but we can double click on this as well if we want to, and that runs that. And as you can see, there's a listing of all our stock transactions, and for each product we've got a total. We have 2 other reports in the stock area, and they are in stock take. So there's a separate help video on stock take, but briefly, when we produce a stock take batch, we do it for a particular location, and that will give us a range of stock items. And the first thing we do is we have to go out with a hard copy report and write down the quantities of stock that we find. So we print a stock take list. So again, you have to select one out of this list of stock take batches, print the stock take list. That then prints the report, and we can start writing our stock levels that we find down here. As an aside, it's useful that when we've written our values in there to total them on a calculator, and then when we feed that back into the stock take batch, that gives us a running total, and the two should equal each other. Once we have done our stock take, we can then run a stock adjustment report, and that adjustment report will show us the actual level and what adjustments that we've made to it. So in this case, there were 2 short, and we've made that adjustment. Now, before I finish, as far as stock taking is concerned, that is potentially a process where you might need to provide evidence of what you actually did on that, so evidence of the stock take. So don't forget to save your reports and label them intuitively. There's no restrictions, so you can call it stock take report. You can say whatever date it was. You could even put a bin reference in if it was one particular bin reference, and save those then for future reference. And that concludes the overview of stock reporting in RMM.